thank you all for being here with us tonight. I am both excited and honored to join you and represent this great party as we unveil our vision for the future. The founders of the Progressive Labor Party had a vision of a Bermuda where equitable opportunity was available to every Bermudian. They didn't just wish for this or pray for this. They decided to come together and fight for this Bermuda, forming what is now Bermuda's oldest political party. From that time, they put forth new, progressive ideas. In doing so, they faced ridicule, economic hardship, and resistance from those who were comfortable with the status quo. But they persevered because they believed in a Bermuda that works for all of us. Like them, we believe that every Bermudian deserves dignity, a fair chance, and the opportunity to thrive right here, right now, in our own country. In a party, it's not about me, it's about us. It's not about individual ambition, but collective responsibility. It is not about being accountable only to oneself, but about being held accountable by the people who allowed us the privilege to serve, and who will ensure that we continue to serve in the best interests of the people. That is not to say that party politics is perfect, far from it. But at its core, the PLP is about unity, collaboration, and working together for a better Bermuda. So tonight, I stand before you not just as the Premier, not just as the proud leader of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, but as a representative of a party that reflects Bermuda. A party that acts based on the people's needs and desires and evolves and adapts with them. A party that recognizes that though we have made progress and made Bermuda a little fairer for all, there is more work to be done. More needed to address the cost of living. More needed to create more affordable housing. More needed to help our seniors. More needed to lower energy bills. More needed to provide accessible and affordable healthcare. Not only do we recognize these things and more, but we have a plan and a vision to deliver them for you. So tonight, I'm proud to join my PLP family as we launch the 2025 Bermuda Progressive Labor Party platform, building a fairer, more stable, and more affordable Bermuda. This platform isn't my vision. It is not a platform, just to be clear, created by the members of Cabinet or members of the House of Assembly. Like all PLP platforms before it, it is the collective voice of the Progressive Labor Party, shaped by the voices of Bermudians from all walks of life. It is the product of countless conversations on doorsteps, intense debates within our party, and the dedicated work of a diverse committee made up of experience and youth. It is a platform with plans that address the challenges Bermudians face today and those we must prepare for tomorrow. It is a platform with policies designed to make life more affordable, our economy more resilient, and our community stronger in the face of global pressures such as rising costs and climate change. The PLP is ready to meet these challenges with practical solutions and policies that are thoughtful yet grounded in the reality of our people's daily lives. The platform that we present tonight reflects the values and vision of this party, shaped by the past, but looking firmly toward the future, because that is what this election is about, our future. As I have publicly stated, this will be my last election as leader of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, and I'm as committed as ever to continuing to help this party build a fairer Bermuda for all Bermudians. But in order to build on the progress we've made and to take decisive steps to address the issues that matter most to you, we will need your support. The collective efforts of the Progressive Labour Party have delivered this platform, but it's up to all of the voters in Bermuda to decide. With your support to govern for the next 5 years, a Progressive Labour Party government will focus on taking strong and urgent action in the following key areas. First, creating a more affordable Bermuda. Next, transforming healthcare coverage and accessibility. Third, supporting Bermudians through all stages of life. Fourth, sustaining our economy in a changing world. And finally, promoting a more responsive, people-centered government. These priorities are centered around building a fairer, more stable, and affordable Bermuda. In the coming moments, you will hear from some of our outstanding candidates, leaders who speak on the key themes of these platforms, and each of whom embodies the values of the Progressive Labour Party and represents the future of our party and our country. What you will hear from them is what the next PLP government will do with your support. How we will create a more affordable Bermuda by expanding affordable housing and reducing energy costs. How we will transform healthcare by prioritizing mental health and ensuring that every Bermudian has access to quality, affordable care. How we will support Bermudians through all stages of life, from expanding childcare assistance to increasing pension protections for our seniors. How we will sustain and grow our economy by embracing new industries and renewable energy while ensuring Bermudians have the skills and opportunities to succeed. And how we will promote a more responsive, people-centered government, introducing greater transparency, accountability, and trust in public institutions. And how together, with your support, we can continue to build a fairer, more stable, and more affordable Bermuda.
Exploring the theme of affordable Bermuda, housing, energy, and fair prices. As a mother of 4 and a grandmother of 2, I know firsthand the challenges families in Bermuda are facing. Like so many parents and grandparents, I worry about whether our children and grandchildren will be able to build a good life here. The cost of living is rising, and too many hardworking people are struggling just to make ends meet. We cannot allow Bermuda to become a place where only the wealthy can afford to thrive. That is why our party has a plan to make Bermuda more affordable so that every family, every young person, and every senior can have a fair chance at a secure and prosperous future. The Progressive Labour Party understands the burdens on families across the island, and we are committed to creating a more affordable Bermuda through urgent action on housing, food, utilities, and fair market competition. Affordable housing is a cornerstone of our vision. We know the barriers many face in achieving and maintaining housing, especially during tough economic times. We will continue our work to expand assistance programs and provide solutions. If re-elected, your next PLP government is committed to developing a long-term plan to transition properties like the former Bermudiana Beach Resort and Grand Atlantic into affordable housing, with rent-to-own and housing lottery options for first-time buyers. We will also include the inclusionary housing and zoning policy to promote the allocation of affordable housing in new developments. The PLP will finalize amendments to the Landlord and Tenant Act to encourage positive rental relationships, streamline the eviction of non-compliant tenants, and protect both tenants and landlords alike. We will also strengthen policies to protect those mortgage holders who are facing financial difficulties and ensure fair borrowing through an updated lender code of conduct. No Bermudian should have to choose between food and other basic necessities. Many Bermudians may not know that the government has already taken steps on our part to reduce the cost of food by reducing import duty to zero on many essential goods. But in order for that to work, businesses must pass those savings on to consumers. We have heard you at the doorsteps when you have said that you feel that the government should be doing more to make sure this happens. Accordingly, your next PLP government will implement fair pricing controls and transparency measures on essential goods to ensure the savings from zero import duty benefits you. We will also support community-based food initiatives and create a grocery price tracker for real-time comparisons. Although we have reduced the sugar tax, which has already resulted in healthy benefits that have driven down healthcare costs, your next PLP government is committed to ensuring the funds raised by sugar tax goes towards supporting local agriculture, fishing, and promoting the full use of available arable land so that everyone can have accessible, affordable, healthy food. Affordable energy is essential for Bermudians. We have already strengthened regulations on fuel prices, but more is needed. The Progressive Labor Party will amend the Electricity Act to reduce the types of costs that are passed on to you by BELCO, prioritizing affordability for residents. We will expand access to renewable energy with community solar programs and alternative, innovative, clean energy resources. We will review regulations that require mandatory connection to BELCO, allowing the freedom for persons who wish to explore independent energy generation options. Finally, while we support the growth of markets, we also believe in fairness and accountability. We will not support practices that limit healthy competition or drive up costs. If elected, your next PLP government will establish a regulatory and competition authority to oversee pricing controls and fair dealing. We will strengthen antitrust laws to prevent monopolies in essential sectors and promote fairness. These are just a few steps we will take to make Bermuda more affordable to all. We ask for your trust and support to turn these commitments into real, meaningful change. Together, we can build a Bermuda where every Bermudian has the opportunity to own a house, access affordable essentials, and live with financial security. Thank you.
On the theme of supporting Bermudians through all stages of life, beyond the financial burdens that many face, we recognize the unique challenges of life in Bermuda across generations. For those starting families, we know the importance of support in those critical early years. That's why we will add infant and toddler formulas to the list of essential items to help control their pricing. We will introduce the Baby Box program to provide newborns with essential items, equipping families with a supportive foundation. Parenthood looks different for everyone, and every family deserves the chance to bond and grow together. That's why we will establish parental leave for legal guardians and adoptive parents, and revise maternity leave and paternity leave to provide greater flexibility for families, no matter how a family is formed. We also recognize the decision to have a child is deeply personal, and every individual deserves the right to make that choice safely and without fear. That is why we are committed to removing pregnancy termination from the criminal code and removing the requirement for a committee to approve these procedures before they can take place. To my fellow young Bermudians, the PLP has heard us and accepted our charge. We want to be able to build our lives, access opportunities, and play an active role in the shaping of this country's future. This PLP government has a history of increasing voting rights. It is this party that instituted true one man, one vote of equal value to allow Bermudians the right to engage in the democratic process. Well, the PLP will continue this legacy by introducing absentee voting for eligible overseas students registered in a course of study. But supporting our young people goes beyond just voting rights, which is why we will amend the Children Act to improve access to mental health support, strengthen anti-bullying protections, and enhance child safety measures. We will continue to transform our education system to provide our young people with the strongest foundation for success. And we are committed to ensuring that this transformation is led by those who truly understand our needs. This means that we will be committed to moving away from overseas consultants and accelerating the development of homegrown leadership in education reform. Every child in Bermuda deserves access to a quality of education, no matter their learning abilities. So we are committed in strengthening inclusive and special education by advancing legislation that ensures better support and accountability for children with additional needs. We recognize that many of us work to provide for our families while also caring for aging loved ones. For those in the sandwich generation, we know how difficult it is to juggle these responsibilities. That is why we are committed to constructing at least one senior daycare facility to reduce the cost of care for families. We will also expand the child daycare allowance to better support families with multiple nursery-age children. For our seniors, we will guarantee pension increases every year to match the rate of inflation. Protecting seniors' purchasing power, we will also work to make home care options more affordable and ensure that caregivers are paid on time so that seniors can retain a home, cared for and secure. Turning to another pillar of our society, Bermuda's culture is one of our greatest treasures, and our artists, entertainers, and creatives play a critical role in preserving and shaping our future and our culture. We are committed to celebrating and protecting our heritage while supporting the creatives behind the culture. This includes our national cultural icons, such as the Gumbays, by exploring ways to safeguard our cultural identity and expressions. Sports and recreational activities are also key to a thriving society. They help build character, strengthen communities, and create opportunities for our young people. We will continue to invest in sports, ensuring that Bermudians have access to programs that promote health, well-being, and community engagement. But this is not all we want to get done. There is more that we can achieve. When you read the full platform, do not view it as a wish list, but a checklist, a list that we fully intend with your vote to complete as the next governor of Bermuda.
Good evening, Bermuda. On the theme of establishing universal healthcare and expanding accessibility, universal healthcare coverage, one of the most powerful social equalizers, is centered around one main goal: making sure that every resident, regardless of income, color, or status, can get the care they need to live a healthy life. No one should have to choose between paying their bills and seeing a doctor. No one should go without life-saving prescriptions or critical treatment because of cost. Too many Bermudians face these choices every day, and we are ready to change that. Bermudians deserve real healthcare reform, and we, the Progressive Labor Party, are prepared to provide it. The government remains committed to universal healthcare, which is all about building a system that works for every person in Bermuda, regardless of their social or financial status. And let me be very clear, we are providing far more than the bare minimum. We're committed to making sure that fairness extends to the examination room. Those using universal healthcare will have access to quality healthcare. While we work towards this goal, we will continue to strengthen the existing programs. HIP will be expanded to include an annual preventative doctor visit. Future Care will offer better prescription coverage and preventative services, helping to lower out-of-pocket costs for our seniors. We also recognize that healthcare goes beyond doctors' visits. We must ensure that those who need long-term care, physical rehabilitation, or greater accessibility are not left behind or are ignored when it comes to health. That is why we are committed to establishing a state-of-the-art physical rehabilitation center using a former school premises, providing long-term therapy and recovery services for those in need. Expanding maternity benefits to include well baby services and increasing support for new and expectant mothers. Implementing a national plan for adults with intellectual disabilities, and strengthening laws to expand rights, accessibility, and opportunities for individuals with additional needs and disabilities. Mental health and wellness are also essential to strengthening our community. And we know that global events over the last few years have taken a toll on all of us. For too long, financial barriers have prevented many from getting the help that they need. And the importance of mental health has been fully appreciated. The PLP is committed to removing the stigma and making mental health services affordable and accessible. To put action behind our words, your next PLP government will recognize trauma as a serious issue that affects both physical and mental well-being. This declaration will be made on the basis that key institutions, including healthcare, education, and criminal justice, must reframe how we respond to trauma in our communities. We will also conduct a full review of the Mental Health Act to modernize policies, improve protections, and ensure greater transparency for those seeking public mental health services. This is not about campaigning or electioneering. This is about preservation of life and quality of healthcare for those who need it. The state of the healthcare in Bermuda is a fundamental issue, and we are committed to address the physical, social, and spiritual welfare of Bermudians. Please read our platform to view the full list of commitments and learn more about how we will ensure that every resident, regardless of income, color, or status, can obtain the care they require to live a healthy, dignified, holistic, quality life. Thank you.
I'll now address you on the topic of sustaining and growing our economy in a changing world. Around the world, nations are grappling with the pressures of inflation, rising interest rates, and the challenges of technological and climate-driven transformation. The question that we must ask ourselves is, how do we ensure that Bermuda, once again, not only weathers these challenges, but emerges stronger, more resilient, and more prosperous? The Progressive Labour Party has a clear vision for the future, one that builds on the foundations of fiscal responsibility, economic diversification, and a commitment to making Bermuda more affordable for all. This government understands that the needs of our community are greater than an impressive balance sheet, and that any economic success we have belongs to you, the people of Bermuda. So this year, in our mid-year budget review, we return this additional revenue to the people by investing $25 million into social and mental health services, infrastructure, and community initiatives. We took this action while keeping the government on course to deliver the first balanced budget in 21 years, proving that responsible financial management can be done while still pursuing fairness by reducing taxes and investing in our community. We also did this to ensure that economic progress is not just spoken about, but felt by Bermudians in their daily lives. And if returned to office, we will continue to make this our aim every single day. With the introduction of Bermuda's first ever corporate income tax, we are ensuring that Bermuda continues to maintain the highest level of international standards in cooperation and transparency, while also providing new revenues that will allow us to reduce the national debt and invest in our future. Yes, we will be balanced, ensuring that we reserve funds to reduce our national debt, but we must also invest in Bermudians. This platform is ambitious, and the social programs and support will require funding. We will commit that funding because the message from the doorstep is that Bermudians want to know that their needs matter. We will establish a sovereign wealth fund to ensure that excess revenues from the corporate income tax are strategically invested for the long-term benefit of Bermudians today and Bermudians tomorrow. But financial strength is only one piece of the puzzle. A strong economy must be built on opportunity. That is why the next PLP government will continue to expand homegrown entrepreneurship, investing in Bermudian businesses, digital innovation, and cooperative business models. We will continue to streamline business startup processes, remove more bureaucratic hurdles and red tape for local entrepreneurs, and make it easier to access financing so that our economic growth benefits all Bermudians and not just a select few. We will implement a series of targeted tax reductions and fee cuts to continue to ease the financial burden on families and businesses. These include reducing the tax on energy by a further 20%, representing a total reduction of 80% since taking office, cutting private car licensing fees by an additional 10%, reducing everyday costs for working Bermudians, reducing the base rate of land tax for all residential properties by 50%, lowering the financial burden of homeownership, and reforming the import duty system to implement reduced rates for local businesses registered with Bermuda Economic Development Corporation, easing operational costs and supporting local retail, services, and economic growth. We also recognize that a sustainable economy must be a resilient economy. And that is why we will transition Bermuda to a climate-resilient future with hurricane-resistant energy infrastructure and expanded renewable energy programs. Finally, we recognize that tourism remains a pillar of our economy, and we are committed to revitalizing that industry through expanded investments in guest houses and health and wellness tourism, diversifying Bermuda's tourism offerings, and supporting the redevelopment of the Fairmont Southampton, ensuring that it creates jobs and opportunity for our people. And we will continue to push forward on one of the most important issues that affect Bermudians every day. And that is fair access to financial services. That means fair banking, lowering fees to ensure that Bermudians have access to financial services, guaranteeing that every Bermudian has access to a bank account, and also completing our work to establish a financial watchdog to ensure that banks and insurance companies treat their customers fairly. The PLP's economic plan is about stability, affordability, and opportunity. It is about ensuring that Bermuda remains strong in a changing world, a place where families can thrive, businesses can continue to grow, and where workers are treated fairly. That is our vision, and with your support, we will continue to build an economy that works for everyone.
Good evening, and on certainly the last but not least of the themes this evening, promoting a more responsive and people-centered government. Bermuda deserves a government that is transparent, accountable, and responsive, and one that actively welcomes being held to the highest standards. The Progressive Labor Party is committed to being that government. We will establish a public integrity office to strengthen accountability, promote transparency, and ensure ethical standards across all public bodies, including the Bermuda Police Service, through independent oversight. We know that many Bermudians feel disconnected from politics as usual and feel burdened by bureaucracy. We will expand the digitization of government services, making them more accessible and efficient, including making online payment options to improve convenience for the public. We are also committed, which is very near and dear to my heart, to legal reform. The PLP has made this a cornerstone of our governance. With the newly established Ministry of Justice, my ministry, driving this forward, our reforms will create lasting, fair laws to serve Bermuda's needs, both now and in the future. We are committed to a comprehensive review of the legal aid system to ensure fairness and transparency, creating a clear framework for compensating those who have been wrongfully convicted, reforming domestic violence protection orders and establishing a domestic violence court, modernizing the criminal justice system, including updating the Young Offenders Act, equalizing the age of consent to remove discrimination and ensure fairness across the spectrum in our community, regardless of gender. Preventing crime is equally important, and we believe that while punishment has its place, it cannot be the sole focus. Prevention is the key. Restorative justice must be fully incorporated into our justice system as it encourages offenders to understand the impact of their actions, take responsibility, and work toward rehabilitation. Additionally, addressing antisocial behavior is vital to long-term crime prevention. We are committed to implementing the National Violence Reduction Strategy to reduce violence and create safer communities. We will also work with third sector charities to enhance foster care, run life skills programs, and offer substance abuse treatment. Trauma-informed care, and you've heard this already, will be introduced across Bermuda's justice system, helping offenders address unresolved trauma that often leads to criminal behavior. Our focus on restorative justice, prevention, and rehabilitation will create safer communities and ensure the long-term well-being for all Bermudians. Now, turning to another critical area of public concern, our transportation and infrastructure systems. We certainly understand the growing demand for more accessible, consistent, and user-friendly transportation options. And we are committed to modernizing our transportation network. We also acknowledge the frustration many Bermudians have experienced with the state of our roads. It is the #1 thing on the doorstep, no matter where you are. Upgrading this vital aspect of our infrastructure is one of our top priorities. Infrastructure and public transportation are critical to the functioning of our communities, and we want to make them a point of pride for all Bermudians. With this in mind, we are committed to fast-tracking the improvement of Bermuda's roads following the acquisition of the new asphalt plant and paving equipment, replacing the Tynes Bay waste-to-energy facility to increase energy production and support sustainable resource management, introducing speed cameras within the new CCTV system to deter excessive speeding, reduce accidents, and most importantly, save lives on Bermuda's roads. Implementing a scheme to increase the legal vehicle tint threshold through an annual fee at TCD, providing a balanced solution that promotes safety, regulation, and generates additional government revenue. The PLP is serious about delivering on these commitments and ensuring real change for Bermuda's future. Together, we can make this vision a reality. Thank you.
Thank you to our candidates, not just for their words tonight in support of our party's platform, but for stepping forward to help us build the fairer, more stable, and affordable Bermuda that Bermudians deserve. Thank you to the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party's Research and Platform Committee for their tireless work in putting this ambitious platform together. Thank you. What you heard from our candidates were not just platform promises. They are commitments. And the Progressive Labor Party has a proven track record on delivering on its promises. When you asked us to reduce taxes for working families, we did. When you told us to invest in affordable housing, we did. When you said that more was needed to protect Bermudian jobs, we did more. But we know that the work is not finished. We hear your frustrations and your call for even more. While the government cannot solve all the problems that come our way, what we can do and what we will continue to do is to listen and provide solutions where we can, along with stable, thoughtful leadership and a clear vision on how we can make Bermuda fairer for all. This Progressive Labor Party is ready to deliver that for all Bermudians. We are ready to continue building a Bermuda where opportunity belongs to all of us. But family, we are not perfect. We are human. We will make mistakes, as we have before. We will face challenges and setbacks, as we have in the past. But what I will commit to all of you here tonight and to the people of Bermuda watching in their homes is that no matter what we face, the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party will never stray from our mission to build a fairer Bermuda for all. The Progressive Labor Party has always and will always put Bermudians first, and will always put the many ahead of the few. So tonight, as we launch our platform, I ask for your trust and support to continue our progress. Together, we can ensure that Bermuda remains a place where hard work is rewarded, families are supported, seniors are cared for, young people have opportunities, and every Bermudian has a chance to succeed. Let us continue building a fairer, more stable, and more affordable Bermuda for all of us. Thank you.
Can we ask any questions? No?